When they ask you to talk about the future, I said to Alain, actually, if I would have known the future, I wouldn't be here. I would probably be in the Bahamas on my yacht, drinking one of the mojitos that I like. Who knows what the future holds? So yes, I travel most of the time around in EMEA, from one country to another, making sure that we sell. But today I don't want to do something different. And when you think about future, the first idea that I had is this quote. You need to internalize that. I think it's a bad truth. We always overestimate on what's going to come and what's hot. We overestimate, but we fundamentally underestimate on what impact it will have on the society 5-10 years from here. I think it's a good quote, and to be fair, the one that it's written, it pays my bill, it's Bill Gates, so I happen to sort of support that. No, what I wanted to do is think about, as a person, as a company, as a society, you need to have sort of a navigational north, or a plan on where you want to get to. And if you have that determined view on where you're heading as a person, as a company, as an industry, then all of a sudden it becomes extremely clear on what is not important, what is irrelevant, and it also gives you sort of the ability to recognize the things that are important. I think Esther Dyson did a good job in talking some of these trends, but it all depends on what your navigational north is. And what we see today in our industry, there's so many things that are overhyped. Overhyped as a definition because everybody talks about it, but that are fundamentally still undervalued of what they can contribute to society, or what they can contribute to your company or to marketeers or what have you. So I wanted to talk through a couple of those. The long tail of the web. How many presentations have you had around the long tail of the web? Macroscopic phenomenon. Actually, if you lower the barriers to entry, then you get more participation, blah, blah, blah. It's actually power to the people, right? Everybody talks about it, but how many marketeers have fundamentally thought through on what it actually means? And I will connect the dots after 3 slides. Bear with me. The previous slide, please. Before. You're going down. I want to go up. The network effect. Basically, the fact that the more people participate to a certain thing, the more value it gets. So I remember instant messaging 7 years ago. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of value if you have 100 people in the country using IM. The more people that contribute, the more people that join, then you get the network effect going. Then it adds value. In fact, in a traditional definition, they only talk about the number of participants joining. They never talk about, for instance, the number of data they join. If you think about Wikipedia, I think you all know, I'm very bad in numbers, but you probably know better than me, but the Jakob Nielsen rule says that 2% of the people in Wikipedia actually generate 90 or over 90% of the content. Have you really thought through what it would mean if 10% of the people would start being as active and as busy and as engaged as the 2%? And imagine we get that to 20%. Overhyped, a lot of value is still to come from the network effect. Search. It comes in 15 different forms, in organic, paid, sponsored links, local, maps, video. But in fact, I think search is one of, as it exists today as a technology and as a service, is probably one of the most overhyped experiences. It's crap. It doesn't speak to the fundamental journey of discovery, I think. It's not about searching. It's about a journey of discovery. And that speaks to demands. That speaks to personal input. That speaks to a certain element of serendipity. I think search is one of the areas where we're going to see massive improvements, and that will be massively, obviously, driven by technology. I'll connect the dots in a minute. Bear with me. So if you connect the dots at this stage, and you think about Wikipedia, let's apply it to Wikipedia in this sense. You've got a simple authoring, editing tool that allows you to post stuff on the internet, and all of a sudden it starts to be linked to each other. Obviously, you get new value of combining all of those data. And as you get more value, more people are getting into the network, are getting more value out of it, are also adding value to it. Start editing, start joining. And you get these little circle of rapidly iterating innovations, because it's driven by the number of people that kick in there. So it starts generating yield. That's a fundamental principle that we could apply to search now. And I get to your future stuff, right? Because I think this is one of the elements where we could look at in the future. Now let's apply that principle to digital photography. Think about users taking digital pictures. Imagine you've got a technology platform that starts linking those pictures together, that sort of hyperlinks pictures one to another. And the thousands and millions of pictures out there on the web are hyperlinked and put in combination with each other. Now, if you've got that, you're sort of creating a virtual world. It's not a real world. It's not the Second Life world. It's sort of a 1.5 world in between, right? So if you can create that experience, you could sort of start navigating through it. And people start doing that. And as they start doing it, it adds value to their life. And they start participating to it, start participating in uploading their pictures of their streets, of their villages. And the technology becomes more powerful. And you have the same circle of innovation. This is one of the things that I wanted to show you, because I think it's fundamentally, I'm not sure what Esther said about virtual worlds, but I'm a big believer in these sort of things where we're going to tie what is existing out there in digital photography. And there will be a day where we're going to see those 1.5 worlds. This is one of the projects that our Microsoft Labs is working on. And the guy you're going to see is heading up a project called PhotoSync. And I wanted to share that with you because that's exactly what it is doing. It's taking images of a certain monument or a certain place. We've got 5 working demos. Actually, I will post a link on my blog tonight if you want that. And you should really engage with it because it's fantastic. I'll show you, sort of roll the video, please.
You can think about what photosynth does as linking images together. Whenever images are taken in a common environment, it's as if you form a hyperlink between them. And so now if you think about the emergent network of hyperlinks between images that can be built by a crawler, say, going out and searching the whole web, it's a very powerful idea. Here's a shot of St. Peter's Basilica. We're looking at it where we can navigate through hundreds of photos. The fun thing happens when we arrange all of these guys into a common three-dimensional environment. Here's a point cloud, a model that's been reconstructed from all of those images. Let's turn all of the images on so we can see where they all ended up. You see this kind of complicated picture of lots of photos in their own planes inside that model. Let's go dive in and find the photo that we were looking at. And now we can move back and forth among different photos, like this, just moving from side to side. These white boxes that are now appearing on the screen are showing where photos were taken. So, for example, if we want a close-up over here, we click on that, and you see that everything is registered perfectly with the three-dimensional model. So you can imagine a technology like this one with many people's photos being registered simultaneously becoming like a three-dimensional map or a universe. We have a three-dimensional reconstruction of the environment. And we can also, of course, look at those photos individually. And then from there we can navigate around the space either via photos or via the entire environment. This is all of them turned on simultaneously, which is kind of fun. If we want to look at other images similar to the one that we're looking at right now, we can do this trick. Now we've grouped close to the center of the screen all of the images that shared a lot of context with that image that we were just looking at before. These are nearly identical shots. Here's, for example, a close-up of this clock. Looking at similar shots, we see that the clock also occurred in a number of other photos, like this one. So this gives you a way of grouping and navigating between images using the image contents without any kind of tagging having taken place beforehand, no hand intervention. This shows you how we can zoom on different parts of the image. And as we zoom, only the necessary data for that particular part is coming in over the network. This is all of the images that had this same content anywhere in them. So here's another image of the same museum, another image, and you can see the registration happen in real time as we go back and forth between those images. Here we're moving back and forth among neighboring images, so images that share some content. So this gives you a kind of neighbor tour, gives you a rapid way of navigating around inside that space. If you had an image like this one somewhere on the web and you wanted to know what's in one of those murals, another photo would just be discoverable like that. This photo could have come from somewhere else entirely. It certainly gives you a way of looking at other perspectives on something, or close-ups, or what's around the corner, based on a starting image. Let's say that this close-up is on a web page that talks about this particular seat. You could dive in and then dive back out at that web page. And so it gives you a way of linking contextually across different places in the web where the image content actually lives.
This long-standing dream of augmented reality, where the computer will tell you about the world, the real world that you're immersed in, will finally be delivered with this kind of photosynth technology. We're going to see a collision of the real world and the virtual world that'll create this incredible experience that people can go and visit and really get a sense of what it's like to see things they've never seen before.
So apply that to millions of people, the long tail, uploading stuff, the network effect kicks in, technology is there to realize these sort of projects. The next one is video. Funny enough, probably we're going to say all three the same, but I'll address some other issues than Bart has addressed. The future of TV, well, let's not talk about user-generated content and YouTube. If you think YouTube is the future of TV, then probably it was a good investment buying. We don't think it is. We see other stuff happening. We think broadcast, and Bart pointed to it actually, is no longer a valid word probably. It's like broadcasting something to a broad audience probably needs to be redefined, right? Because it's all about making it a participatory environment, making it immersive, making it an integrated experience. And that's not what traditional TV does. And it took some time for them to understand that, but actually now they're doing fantastic work on that. Think about what David Lynch said here, our Twin Peaks guy, saying actually if I would be where I was with a big creative idea years ago, I wouldn't think about TV. I would make it an internet experience because it would allow me to be immersive, integrated, participatory, interactive. I want to show you this as well because it's sort of a self-explanatory. This is numbers of people that attended the opening days for at the box office of these big movies. So we've got the Harry Potters and the Spider-Mans and the Pirates of the Caribbean. So in terms of numbers, guess the number one thing. Halo 2. But wait a minute, Halo 2 is a game. Well, so I think it speaks to itself, and Bart actually showed you the examples. I'll give you a quote. In fact, Steven Spielberg just signed up with EA, with Electronic Arts, for 3 titles. And in fact, together with Peter Jackson, a guy who partnered for a long time with Microsoft Game Studios, they created a new venture called Wingnut Interactive. And this is what they say. In our vision together with Microsoft Game Studios, it is to push the boundaries of game development and the future of interactive entertainment. From a movie maker's point of view, it's clear to me that Xbox 360 is a stage where storytellers can work their craft in the same way they do it today with movies and books, but then taking it one step further into interactivity. Exactly to Bart's point. Great creative minds probably no longer will be interested in the movie. They will be interested in creating that experience that is in-game, that is a game, and that it does exactly what it should be doing. It's make it participatory, immersive, interactive. I wanted to dive into this quote. It talks about the semantic web, where we take all of the data, we analyze all of the data, clicks, user transactions, and then obviously it helps us build the future. It helps us optimize. And I had a couple of slides on campaign optimization and how we're going to break through on measurement in the next 4 or 5 years. First of all, this is an old quote. And those who recognize it, it dates from 1999. And you see we are now 7, 8 years down the road. And a lot of that hasn't been done at all. So we still have that, we still have a long way to go in this. But I deleted all of my slides because I thought you'd be tired after a full day. But I think in terms of measurement, in terms of data, in terms of turning data into real sort of value for marketeers, big stuff's going to happen. Esther talked about the media industry. You can look at this picture in a couple of different ways. There's stuff happening there. The people are taken by surprise or not that the house is collapsing. They're still stuck on that chair there. There's still media owners that are absolutely convinced that they're still doing the right things, but most of them actually realize that the house is tumbling down. And I don't have an answer, and Esther doesn't have the answer either, I heard. But I wanted to give our perspective on sort of the different elements of what's happening. We look at it from different perspectives, and obviously this is just about Microsoft, what we see in the next 4 years for us in our business. We invested in gaming massive. We bought a company a year ago that does in-gaming advertising, highly complex technology. And we just bought a company in Paris called Screen Tonic. And so I'm busy integrating that into our sales force. But in terms of mobile advertising, overhyped, guys. There's so many congresses around mobile advertising, but when it comes to actually hitting the ground and see the results, we're nowhere yet. So a lot of undervalue there. The stuff is yet to come. In terms of in-gaming as well, we're struggling today to convince advertisers around the value of in-gaming. We're going to get over that in a minute. PhotoSync, I showed you the impact of Vista. Silverlight is probably, if you're a developer, the typical thing about this industry is that you can't deliver creative campaigns if you don't catch up with the development, if you don't catch up with the technology that allows you to develop great stuff. Silverlight is just another development platform, and there's more out there. But it used to be enough for a creative guy to know how TV worked, and he could make his 30-second spot. Today, if you're an interactive agency and you don't invest in technology and in education and in getting your people up to speed every single 3 months, you fail, you get out of there. Yeah, a quantif. Yesterday, everybody asked me about a quantif. Well, actually, the only thing I can say is that we're going to integrate Atlas and some of the publisher platform there into our own ad expert, into Ad Center and Ad Expert. And we're going to work on one big platform that delivers one of the best platforms in the world. But, you know, all of us say that. I think we're all sort of trying to find and trying to twist and tweak our existing app platforms. But it was a big buy. An important buy, and so we're now busy integrating that into our development teams. As a side effect, I got some questions from agencies. Yes, we also have Avenue A, Razorfish assets now in our portfolio. To be fair, and it's an honest answer, I don't know where it will end up. We have good discussions. There's fantastic agency in Duke in France, and Avenue A in Razorfish in London and in Germany. And so there's lots of things happening. Honestly, I don't know how it will work, whether we're going to integrate it into our value proposition. You know, that's going to piss off a lot of creative agencies out there. So maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe it's all about Chinese walls. So I can't share you in all truth because I don't know what it will end up. will end up with. Well, we're discussing it at the moment. Last but not least, I wanted to share you some stuff that is related to bringing the love back. And this day, I like these sort of things because it's exactly what is needed for the industry. This morning we had Bernard Glock here, and he talked for half an hour. I can tell you, I dragged him to our meeting. We have a leadership team meeting here 1 kilometer further in downtown center. And we grilled the guy. He was talking for an hour. And what do we need to do as an industry for Procter & Gamble to spend 5% of their $8.2 billion media investment on online? You know, Bernard, tell me, what is your challenge? What is the stuff that we need to do? So we had a very good discussion around that. In fact, overall, we need to make advertisers understand that this is obviously all about the conversation. It's all about the conversations between brands and consumers. We have been struggling, I think the industry has been struggling a lot to articulate that, to make it visual, to make it appealing on what it actually means. So we thought, well actually our Belgium team thought, let's make a commercial, which is pretty ironically, let's make a 30-second spot in what it actually means for the industry. It turns out to be a little bit longer than 30 seconds, but I wanted to show it to you because it's one of the good pieces of work that I've seen in trade marketing this year.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah. Let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
What now?
I think you heard me just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put down a mill on a TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking. I never get a chance.
Talk on our website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say, order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the print campaign, You can't tell me you missed the billboard in Times Square. That was like a 200-foot tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny. Genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Would you keep your voice down? You're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, reduction. Am I right? That was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you'd know I don't care about that.
Know you? Sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and laser hair removal. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one not getting the problem here?
I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Look, I'll tell you what. Come back here tomorrow. I'll give you the chance to win a Bahamas vacation. There's a small chance, minuscule, but technically still a chance. I want to be like the old days.
Thanks. The credits go to the Belgium team, actually. The old days are no longer, so you can wish we were back in the old days. But and it's not about let's hug. It's about genuine conversations with real consumers. So some of the remarks I have to respond to that. Some of the remarks to me have been, yeah, it's sort of like. That's the story we tell the whole time, but what is your responsibility? What is the industry's responsibility? Well, let me quickly reply to that, and then I'm done. I think it is a very good and genuine question. It's not about, we have to be very careful as an industry not to fall into the same trap of just selling our medium on a square inch centimeters. It's not a 300 by 250. That's going to be helpful in that conversation. It's not just a skyscraper that's going to be helpful in that conversation. So let's be careful in that. And I was standing up for my sales guys out there and saying, you know, if we want to compete with old media, and if you want to use this video, you better come prepared, and you better not deliver a standard media plan with 300 by 250, and that does the trick. help agencies, help brands to really engage with conversations that goes way further than just media plans. So I wanted to give you that. And with that, I'm sort of over my 20 minutes, I guess. Thanks. I'm available for questions here. But before we do that, let me introduce you to Javier. Javier is the VP for Yahoo Europe, sales, that is. Actually, we compete once in a while, but we're also good friends as board members of the IAB. Actually, it's very good to have us here, Alain. Thank you. I hope we can continue working together on that. Javier, once in a while, steals one of my sales managers, and once in a while, I steal one of his, and that's what life is all about. Javier, the floor is yours.